internets.
And interweb.
I, of course, am Scott. I'm just here for the story, Car, and with me, as always, is...
Well, Robert, I once got caught in a trap, and fortunately it was released by my giant ego, James.
I highly doubt that.
No?
No. Although it would explain why you don't have as much ego anymore. You had to lose it.
I had to lose some ego to get out of the trap.
Yeah. You must have had a lot to spare. So, we, of course, are today talking about Spiral from the Book of Saw.
We are.
Which just came out, yeah. Which I personally am a kind of fan of the Saw films. I really liked the first one, and I did like the beginning sequels, but as they went on, I didn't like them as much. You know, I still enjoyed them. You know, I especially like the plot twist and that, and like I was saying at the beginning, and you know, like I'm there for the story. You know, I'm not really there for the gore and for the, you know, the traps are inventive, and I like the inventiveness of the traps, but sometimes they went a bit over the top with the blood and gore.
When you asked me if I seen Saw, I have seen Saw, but the Saw I see was nothing like the Saw we seen yesterday on this edition of Unscripted and Mostly Harmless. I practiced that for 2 hours last night.
And it shows.
Hey, it was pretty good.
Regardless, so this review, due to the fact that the movie is basically a mystery, we are going to try to keep it mostly spoiler-free. Now, we are going to have a spoiler section, and what we're going to do is we are going to announce it before we hit the spoiler section, and then if you want to skip it and go straight to the coffee cups, we'll try to have the
I'll have the timestamp.
We'll have the timestamp, and we'll warn you when we get there, hey, just skip, and then you can get straight to the coffee cups. And then that way you can avoid all spoilers on this, because we want to keep this as spoiler-free as possible.
Absolutely.
Due to the fact it is a mystery.
Yep.
You know. So you want me to do a synopsis? Would you like to do a synopsis?
I think I have this one.
Okay,
actually.
you give a synopsis on this.
All right.
Some coffee.
It's a 90s cop movie, except it isn't, because the 90s cop is actually not badass. He's not super tough. In fact, he's not very popular at all. He's kind of a loner by force, because he made some choices in his life that probably weren't the greatest for his career. Somebody, because of those choices, has it in for him, I think you could say, and are very particularly eliminating his associates, friends, and enemies. And this is how he deals with it.
So you're saying he's a 90s cop that's a loner that doesn't handle things very well and is not unpopular with people. So
yeah.
In other words, he's an 80s cop.
Oh, my bad. He's an 80s cop. But I think...
Oddly enough, yeah, except for the badass part, because even the 80s cops were badass. But,
right. He was not... I didn't feel like he was, I am man, at any point. So.
Yeah. Yeah, plus he's played by Chris Rock, which was interesting. So,
yes.
Anyway, let's get to the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to start off, of course, with the good. Okay, so for me personally, the whole reason I like to watch these is for the story. And unfortunately, like I said before, the sequels, as they went on, were less and less about the story, more about the kills. In fact, it got to the point where the plot line was always just shoestring. It was just a way to get from trap to trap to trap to trap. And this one, major focus in the story. There is fewer traps. They're still just as elaborate as the other traps. There is blood and gore in this, so if you are a fan of the gory aspect of the other films, you're not going to be disappointed. Nope. They still have that. I think they toned it down a bit. They made it more visceral. It's more emotional, I would say. You really feel them more. The other ones, it was more just hacking away at pieces of body parts later on. Yeah. It was just torture porn, I hate to say it. They felt like they were kind of going back to the first Saw, where the first Saw was primarily all story. It was all about the mystery of what was happening to them. Why were these two men trapped in a bathroom and all that stuff? How are they connected? Who's doing this to them? And once again, we got that again with this one.
Right.
So,
my good is actually the cast. Sam Jackson Chris Rock, okay, these are not two people I think of as horror franchise people. In fact, I think Sam Jackson, the only other horror film I can recall him in was the one with the shark. Blue Sea, Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea. And he was in there long enough to give a speech and get eaten.
We're gonna seal off this.
His part here is
Spoilers.
Oh, spoilers! Sam Jackson gets eaten by a shark in Deep Blue Sea. I don't see Chris Rock as the character he played ever.
Yeah.
Which to me, as a person who truly enjoys movies and story,
Yeah.
it was awesome to see him rein himself in
Yeah.
and freaking act.
Yep.
The storyline was not conducive to his what I assume is his personality. I don't know Chris Rock.
Yeah.
I don't know which Chris Rock is real. The screaming guy or the laid back guy we saw in this movie.
Oddly enough, we're not friends with the guy. I mean,
No.
Wouldn't mind being friends with the guy. He seems like a nice guy.
He does.
But no, sadly we're not. So we don't really know what he's actually like.
But I would assume his stand-up is probably a little closer to his personality.
You should look yourself in the mirror and say, fuck you.
In that aspect, the casting, everything. And I forgot to pull up the IMDb page on this, so we'll have to do this. The rookie, this guy. Completely believable. He was actually more of a hard ass than Chris Rock's character, in my opinion. He was very much more let's go clean up the streets, kick everybody's butt, and do this. So.
Oh, and I like the fact that, once again, story-wise, they make it out, well, that's because you're a rookie. You haven't been in the force long enough to go and, realize...
Been beat down by the system.
to realize
to the
how
where,
bad the system is and all that
right.
stuff, so...
So, yeah, no, a good is to me, the casting.
Yeah.
Very...
And great repertoire between the characters and stuff like that.
I bought every story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even the ones that were... that you didn't. It got me.
Yeah, no, I understand. So, so that was your good. It's very well known that the Jigsaw Killer died. That happened in the third film.
Right.
And from then on he wasn't around. But every single film they try to go and make it look like, oh, maybe he's still alive. Oh, maybe he's back from the dead, or maybe he faked his death or something like that. In this one, they're flat out making it's another guy. In fact, they say from beginning,
Copycat.
it's a copycat.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that they did that. I was very happy that they are finally moving on. Yes, it's someone who's replicating what he did. It's someone copycatting him or whatever like that, or who may or may not believe in the philosophy that he had or whatever. That's fine, but don't try to fake us out for the 100th time that it might still be Jigsaw somehow.
Right. Yeah, John's dead. Move on.
I was very happy with that. That they didn't even attempt it.
Right.
Any other good?
In every action movie ever, right? Maybe I've seen this 3 times. Never with a smoke bomb. Somebody throws a smoke bomb at your feet, you got 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Kick that sucker back at him. And they actually had a character do that.
It's a good night. Goodbye, Mr. Burton.
The other good I had also was I thought they did a great job with the traps. Now this is something that they've done well with almost all the films. There's only a few traps in past films that were like, well, someone was just looking for a paycheck. They didn't really put much thought into this one. There was definitely a thought put into these traps. So is that going to be it?
That's it for my good.
Okay, I think that's it for the good. That means we have to move on to the bad.
Isn't he a cute little devil? I think he's such a cute little devil. I was trying to go for evil, but I gave up.
That's okay. You had ugly later, so you make it up on the ugly.
That's true.
All right. Why didn't you go first on the bad?
I've only got one bad, seriously, and it's really not horrible. It's more nitpicky. In all the other Saw movies, the trap had an out, and it wasn't a quick out. You had to make a very slow and deliberate decision to get out. These, they gave them milliseconds. a human being needs at least a minute or two to process information when in a high-stress situation.
Yeah.
You literally wake up, and I'm not going to give away the straps yet because we're not in spoilers, but let's say there's a baseball here with a rubber band. You wake up and they say, you must grab the rubber band or you will die. Grab them. Oh, I'm already dead.
Mm-hmm.
That is my only bad. It seemed to be that these people were going to die regardless of they made the right choice or not.
Now, oddly enough, that was going to be my bad as well.
Oh, wow.
Well,
sorry.
Similar, not the same. My bad was with a specific trap. There is a specific trap where, unlike this is something that's happened in the previous series, where you have a character who has another guy in the same room with them that is trapped in some way, and they have to do something to free the person.
Okay.
Right? Which is something that has happened multiple times in the series. And the problem is that rather than just being told flat out, look, this is what you got to do to save the guy, which is what they did previously in the series, this guy's given a freaking riddle. And he has to figure out the riddle in less than a minute to free this guy. Which goes back to what you were saying, where it's almost like they were supposed to die.
They were supposed to die regardless.
So that was my bad. It's just like, oh, come on. Like, you couldn't, like, if you really want the guy to make a choice, you flat out tell him. So yeah, that was my bad, was that specific part.
Good.
So, do you have an ugly? Or should we move on to the ugly?
Well, we have to roll our crap even.
You will always have to roll that. Well, roll it.
There it is. All right. Yes.
So what's your ugly?
My ugly. I don't have one yet, so you go.
Wait. What do you mean yet? You don't have
I
yet?
don't have an ugly yet.
Oh boy, really?
No.
So, well, you got to save it for the spoiler section?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're... Yeah, that's the thing. I don't really exactly have an ugly either, except for my ugly is not really a real ugly. My ugly is some of these trap sequences. Oh my god, I got it under my skin. But that's almost a good thing. They were supposed to get under his skin. And the funny thing is that I feel like they showed less in this movie than some of the other films.
They did.
But boy, it felt so more visceral in this one.
You felt
I felt
everything these guys went through.
I think that actually might have been the trick. They showed less, and by showing less, your brain's filling in the rest.
Fills in the blanks.
And they're showing more of the people's reaction to the pain and everything like that, instead of showing the actual blood and gore, and that's making you feel it, you know?
All the more.
Goes back to the acting, man.
What?
They made you feel it, man.
What I was
really
saying about Ghost of Mars last week, you showed me a dark room, set up the violent act. Set it up for me, let me see what the situation is, and turn the lights out, because the crap that is in here is so much darker and worse than anything you could legally do on a screen. And I think most human beings are like that. We're always going to take it to the darkest, most nasty place.
And this sets up some really dark stuff. So, I mean, yeah.
Dear God, think!
you said when you leave, you were shaking at
we'll talk about that during the ugly.
Okay, that's fine. So, that's it for my ugly, because I just had that. So we're going to move on to the spoiler section. If you want to skip the spoiler section, you want to go and pass on to this timestamp right here.
Yep.
Make sure to put that right there.
Okay. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. So skip to that if you want to miss all the spoilers and go straight to the coffee cups. All right. You want to bring up our spoiler warning?
I was going to say, it is to re-emphasize, don't watch this if you're going to go see the movie.
Yeah.
Skip this whole section.
We're about to give away the mystery, so yeah, skip the
had
section,
I known
go straight to the coffee
the
cups.
answer like you did, smart guy over here, I don't know if I would have enjoyed the movie as well. So don't just go where he pointed. Yes, spoiler warning here. Nah!
Okay, so we're in spoiler territory.
Yes, we are.
So you want to give your ugly then?
Yes.
Okay, give your ugly.
Sweet baby raised people. Could you possibly screw with my cerebrum any more than you did? I watched the other ones, and none of the gore got to me. This got to me. There is a trap where the guy has metal things on his fingers, and here's his option. He pushes a button, and his fingers get ripped off, or he lays in his bathtub, and he gets electrocuted. Every time that machine made the sound, they only showed one small part of his knuckle being ripped, but every time those chains engaged, every time you heard that, I felt every inch of that tension. That is ugly.
Yeah.
And great.
Yeah, there's like only one quick scene that actually shows like the fingers being separated.
And
it's pretty fast.
But the sounds and just God,
really
if I was there, and all of the traps like that to me were like that. And that's an ugly and a good and a bad and an awesome.
All wrapped into one.
All wrapped into one.
Yeah.
It was such a great story, in my humble opinion.
Yep.
I almost wish they'd just screw the traps and tell me the story.
Yeah.
But and it's a horrible ugly. It's not okay. My ugly is you scared me. Great job. Do it next time.
I don't even think you really had to put that in the spoiler section. I think you could have gotten away with.
I don't want to tell anybody about the traps until they see it. Because if I knew he was going to get his fingers ripped off, I would have not been.
Oh, right.
Because there's a small part of your brain that goes, oh, this guy's going to get out. He's not a really bad guy. He didn't do anything. He was just an asshole. Yeah. Well, guess what? The asshole died in the end.
Yep. Pretty much.
That's my ugly.
Yeah. Well, my ugly for the spoiler section, of course, is the fact that I unfortunately figured out who the murderer was way too quickly.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Normally this wouldn't be an ugly because I wouldn't go and be like, oh, well, I figured it out. You know, it's terrible. Because this guy over here, he didn't figure it out. So obviously they didn't make it that obvious. But I thought where it was obvious is the fact that they try to go and, like, I saw the hints ahead of time. Because they want to put in hints to let you know, so that when you go and if you watch it over again or after they do the reveal, you're like, oh my God, I remember that now. Oh, it was so obvious. You know, they want to do that, and that's great. That's fine. You know, hopefully I'm one of the few people who picked up on the hints that quickly. But here's the thing: there's one that gave it away way too easily. And that's the fact that they try to make you think that the guy who they reveal later to be the person behind
the rookie, Chris Rock's partner.
Basically.
This guy.
Yeah. They try to make you think he's dead. They try to make it look like he was in a trap. The problem is that they did his completely different than all the others. They don't show anything when they show everything else in great detail. In fact, they're trying to quote unquote show you by having it quick cut scenes with showing his face, you know, that sort of thing. But they didn't show the actual trap. They didn't show what he was supposedly supposed to do. They didn't say what his supposed thing was because once again, spoilers. All the people dying are dying because they're dirty cops. And it turns out that this guy is trying to get rid of dirty cops.
Or they protected a dirty cop.
Yeah, or people who protected dirty cops or like that. The whole thing was that it's a corrupt police force, and he's trying to get rid of all the bad eggs, so to speak. You know, but here's the thing: if that is, you know, we already know that up to this point that whoever this person is, we don't know who it is, but we know they're going after the corrupt police force. Why go after the rookie? He's a rookie. He hasn't done anything that we know of. It's not even like they hint that he might have done something, you know.
It's the old bad guy trope. They went after the rookie to get to the hero.
Yeah.
And that's what my brain said.
Yeah, and here's the thing. They do try to imply that the main character is corrupt in some shape or form. Sort of. There's a couple implications there.
Oh no, he's corrupt
because they're trying to make, because he was saying that he was going to save him for last or something like that because he was like the least corrupt or something like that. But he's not corrupt. He's actually he's one of the only good people on the force.
When he shuts the kid, you're corrupt. You're covering it up. Now he made the right decision eventually.
No. He's shushing the kid so that the guy didn't realize the kid was there and kill him too.
We agree to disagree.
That's why he was shushing the kid. But anyway, that's beside the point. My point is that
There's doves, big ass doves everywhere. If you're wondering what I keep freaking out about, focus.
But that's not my point. My point, that's your point. My point is that it's fine to go and try to fake out your audience by convincing them that the character that you might be suspecting is dead. But you gotta do it in a more believable way. You can't make it so obvious that his trap is so different than everyone else. As soon as you do that, that brings up a red flag. Hey, why was his different? He's gotta be part of this. That had to be a fake out. And they don't even show his face.
It was enough to fool me.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad.
Usually I get picked up by this crap quick.
I hope more people get fooled by it, because to me it was just really obvious. It didn't. Here's the thing. You said about how knowing ahead of time would have ruined the movie for you.
Absolutely.
Now, the good news is it didn't ruin the movie for me, because even though I knew the who, I didn't know the why.
Yeah.
And that's what kept me watching the movie. That's what kept me interested. I was at the edge of my seat the whole time. I wanted to know the why. And I was very happy with how it turned out. Now, do you have any other ugly or anything else you want to add?
That was just thanks for scaring the shit out of me.
The only other thing I wanted to add was that I felt that the ending was a little bit too ambiguous as far as what the what the villain was trying to achieve, because he claims that he wants the guy to be with him, but then he has this whole elaborate thing set up where the one character is going to die nonetheless. It looked like,
Sam Jackson. Yeah,
Sam Jackson. So I'm wondering if he ever believed that he would actually be able to get this guy with him or not. Plus, I agree with one thing I wanted to mention in the spoiler section. I wanted to mention before. I honestly believe he had every intention of making sure every one of those people died. He did that on purpose.
Oh yeah.
I know. The whole hey, you got a way out of this, I think was, he's copying Jigsaw to a point, but he's purposely making it pretty much impossible for them to survive. And he does kind of imply that, because he actually mentions, I can't believe you actually tried to save that piece of shit.
Yeah.
No, he wants all these people dead.
I completely agree. Yeah. Because Sam Jackson was going to die whether he went. And since we're in the spoiler territory, the cop, Chris Rock, quick synopsis. Sam Jackson's got hooked up to blood draining tubes, right? There's a target here that he tells, the rookie tells the cop, you have to shoot that target, it'll save your dad. Shoot that target though and join me. Or you can take one bullet in your gun, you can put it between my eyes and kill your dad. Well, Rock shoots the target. I'm sorry, I had to make the same choice. I'm a selfless bastard. I want my dad to live. And still, 10 seconds later, the police bust through the door and gun his dad down anyway, because he had him puppeteered to point a gun at the cops. Yeah. So let's say Chris Rock said, okay, he's making the choice. I'm going with you. Yeah. He gets in that elevator thing with him. Yeah. He goes down. Sam Jackson's still dead. Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is that if he had freed his dad and said, I am going to join you, he has the mechanism on the door with a lock. Maybe he would have given him the key. That's the only thing I can think of that would have made sense, that he would have allowed him to unlock the mechanism if he honestly believed he's going to go with him. But obviously, as soon as he frees his dad, he attacks him. So he knows he's not with him.
Right.
So he's sure as hell ain't going to give him the key. He's going to let the dad die, So let's get out of the spoiler. Let's get done with that.
Let's actually get some coffee cups this time.
Yeah, let's go and get some coffee cups.
Well, actually put the coffee cups.
Somebody forgot to put in the graphic of the coffee cups. I don't know who that person was.
I hired an editor.
Yeah, sure you did.
Named Jack Daniels. And while Jack was editing, mistakes were made. So I apologize.
Actually, I totally believe it.
Did you see the quality of last week's video? I'm pretty sure Jack had his friends over, Jim and Jose. Anyway, but yes, we'll have some coffee cups this time.
Yes, let's have some coffee cups. So, go ahead. How many coffee cups? Let's do have you do your algebra.
here we go. We're going to start off with 5. And then we're going to take away 5 for the last 3 Saw movies. And we're going to throw them some bitches out of here. Now we're going to get some all new Saw branded coffee
Oh
cups.
my god.
And we're going to put out 5 of those.
Shouldn't they be spiral branded?
Good call. It means I have to change the little icon to spiral blocks. Okay, so I'm going to only take out 1. And I'm going to crush it by half. And I'm going to put it back down. Because this is a 4.5 movie. It's the closest I have ever gotten to giving away 5. I love being scared. I love walking out of a movie where I've literally got a little bit of a shake. Because you got to me. You got in my brain. And you lived there for an hour. And it was freaking awesome. Wasn't so awesome trying to go to sleep last night. But
Wow.
the only reason I'm going half is and you're supposed to do this, and I almost ought to unswitch this. I wanted more. Why did you have to end it where you know what I am?
Oh, that way.
And it's a compliment, but I'm still, in my opinion, that's got to be half.
Okay. I'm going with 4 out of 5 now, which is weird because I'm usually not lower than you. But the only reason I'm doing 4 out of 5 is because me personally, unfortunately, I did figure out who it was kind of early. Once again, we're out of spoilers, so I can't talk about it. But
Right.
I mean, yeah, I kind of figured
I
out.
understand that.
I kind of figured out who it was pretty early, and that's the only reason I'm getting 4 out of 5. Because even with figuring out ahead of time who it was, I was still completely invested in this movie because I knew the who, I didn't know the why. I could not figure out the why. I really wanted to know what was the whole point of this, what was this coming to.
Right.
I was completely on the edge of my seat for almost the entire film, trying to see what was going to go and happen. So very happy with this. If they continue with the franchise, I hope they continue this vein, keep it similar to this. Actually, I would love to see if they have where the main character of this one has a vendetta and decides to keep going after this new character.
I could also see him flipping real easy and becoming the next.
Yeah,
Good
we'll
stuff.
see. We'll see.
Which would be,
Yeah.
I've been waiting for them to do that since the first movie.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see what happens. Regardless, yeah, 4 out of 5. I'm not doing anything fancy with the coffee cups, unlike some person over here. So I'm just gonna stick with 4 out of 5. And like I said, normally I don't even give lower than this guy over here, but yeah, only for that one reason. Otherwise, definitely recommend it. Now, here's the thing: if you don't like the other Saw films, if you don't like blood and gore, yeah, there's some gory scenes in this. There's some visceral scenes in this. It might be difficult to watch. I will warn you right now. So if you have a hard time watching some of the Saw sequels, you might have a hard time watching this one. Now, still a good movie, so if you can get past the gore, or if that doesn't bother you, or heck, especially if you enjoy it, if you look for gory horror films, definitely recommend it.
Or if you're absolutely insane like me and it scares the crap out of you and it
And
causes
you like
you
that.
to, but you like being scared,
Yeah.
then yes,
Yeah.
go, no, absolutely, go see this and go to a theater
Yeah.
to see it. I'm not disrespecting any streamers. I'm not. If that's where you feel comfortable for your health, please do that. But if you have the ability or can and feel safe and comfortable, please go support the theaters. I was
That's
saying
what
that
we did. Yeah.
yesterday. I got popcorn. Why? Because I don't want to lose that part of my life. I don't want to lose the theaters. I don't want them to close. So
Yeah.
there's my PSA for
There
the
you go.
year.
Nice. So
The more you know. That was McDonald's. Hold on. Yeah, I get McDonald's.
I don't know what. I know you're hungry, but come on, man.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Jeez.
I got zip.
Hashtag I don't want them sponsoring us.
I don't either.
I'm
Ugh.
just not a fan. All right,
Uh-uh.
so that's it for today. Anything? I think actually we got to discuss because there's a bunch of movies coming out, which is great, which is awesome. Lots of stuff coming up.
I am glad you brought that up. This guy and this comment, we're going to do this movie next.
Which one?
The one I just pointed to.
Yeah. Thanks. I can't see
when
that.
we turn the video off, we'll
Yeah.
talk about it
We'll
and
talk
decide
about it.
which one we're going to do next.
Yeah. So,
And then whichever one I point to, I'll zoom in on that comment, and that'll be the one that's there. So
yeah.
I look all intelligent, and we don't look like we're stupid because we didn't talk about this before the video.
Yeah, gotcha. Anyway, so that's it for this one. So we'll see you sometime in the future.
Now, like, subscribe, ring the bell, or I'm going to come into your house, and you don't want to see the trap I set up for you.
Yeah, just do it if you want to. He doesn't know where you live. Don't listen to him. Later.
Bye.